Hello everybody, I hope you're having a nice day. So I'm coming to you ahead of time, so I'm recording this before I went on maternity leave, just so there's some nice things coming to you whilst I'm away. And this is something a bit technical, so it's not the most inspiring of techniques, but it's something that probably a lot of you need to be able to do. So I hope that it's going to be interesting and useful for you. So I'm going to show you how to take up jeans, and I'm going to show you the way of keeping the original hem. Now you may know from my Instagram that I also work for Gap as a kind of consultant on their Denim Addicts program. So that's Gap, the retail company. I've worked with them for about 2 or 3 years now, when they launched this program called the Denim Addict, and in store they offer a service where you can have your jeans taken up. So I helped develop this with them, and I now train their staff so that they can do this, and they do it across the country. I think they've now rolled it out also to the States, or they're certainly thinking of doing that, which is really exciting. So yeah, I've done a lot of testing on jeans and how to hem them and all those things, and distressing them in various ways. But this way that I'm going to show you is the best way for taking up jeans, especially if you've already sewn before. There is a way where you can just cut it and hem it like it was a regular jean, but the way that they construct jeans is they stitch them up and then they sandblast them, and that's how you get that worn edge on the bottom of the jean. So if you were to just cut and take it up, you're not going to get that sandblasted edge, you're going to lose that. So you then might need to distress it with a bit of sandpaper to take some of the dye off, which you could do. But there is a way of doing it so that you keep it on, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So when you are deciding on how much length to take out, you want to pin them up, decide how much where you want them to finish to, and then you need to look at that distance and make a note of what it is. So let's say it's 3 centimeters. So I want to take these up by 3 centimeters. So what that means is when I fold them up at this point, I'm going to make sure that I'm taking out 3 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is just turn them inside like that, so like a turn up. And I'm then going to divide my amount that I want to take them up by 2. So 3 centimeters divided by 2 is 1.5. And that is the amount that I want to fold this to here. So I'm going to just check that that's that all the way around and pin as I go. So I'm just making sure at that bulky point that it's pinned in position, so when you get to the seams, or the double fell seam, that you're lining up with that. And then just use your tape measure, because yeah, they don't want to fold because they haven't been folded this way before. I'm going to keep rolling out of position, so do keep the tape measure to hand and just keep measuring as you go round. Someone told me that this is called the California hem. I've never heard of that. I don't know if that's specific to somewhere in California. If anyone's from California, have you heard of that? This method being called that? Okay, so that's it, pinned and ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch with a dark blue thread that matches this colour, and stitch as close as I can get to the edge here. So really nice and close in there, all the way around. So because these are skinny jeans, they're quite awkward, I can't sort of slot them on, so I'm going to have to do it in little short sharp bursts as I go round. And take that first pin out. Okay, I've just got back to where I started, and I've just done a little reverse just to secure that. I'm now just going to cut off my loose threads with my scissors if I can find them. Here they are. And now, if I turn it, you can see what I've created. I've basically taken them up by that 3 centimeters, but I've kept that original hem. Now, for it to look more discreet than it does already, I'm going to give that a nice hard iron. Okay guys, so there it is ironed, and you can see that now that it's been pressed, it's really very difficult for you to see that there's a seam there. And obviously, who's going to be looking that close to your ankles? But in case they did, it's really not very obvious. So it's the best way of keeping that original hem. Now, because I didn't take up that much, that probably would be fine to be left inside the jean. But if you were taking more up, you would want to get rid of that. So what I would recommend doing is trimming it down to 1 centimetre and then overlocking all the way round, or zigzagging if you don't have an overlocker, and then pressing it back up. So it basically goes up inside your jean so that it's out the way and it's not kind of going to come down and show at the bottom of the hem. So very quick little technique that was for you. I hope you found that useful. If you have been taking your jeans to be altered by somebody else, hopefully now you won't need to do that. But yeah, hope you all have lovely weeks, guys, and I'll see you soon, I'm sure. Bye.